Good evening and welcome to the Metuchen Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, September 10th. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Notice of the meeting, please.
I hereby make this statement to indicate compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, known as Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of New Jersey, 1975, which became effective 90 days after enactment, January 19, 1976. Notice of this meeting was given by providing the location, date, and time of this meeting and posting of the same on the front door of the Board of Education offices, by delivering copies to the Borough Hall and the Metuchen Public Library, the Home News and Tribune, the Criterion Sentinel, the Star Ledger, and by filing a copy with the Borough Clerk as prescribed by this law.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Benderly?
Here.
Ms. Cook?
Here.
Mr. Derflinger?
Here.
Mr. Glassberg?
Here.
Ms. Colleen?
Yes, here.
Mr. Lifton?
Here.
Mr. Manley?
Here.
Mr. Small?
Here.
Mr. Suss?
Here. Thank you, Dr. Caputo. Introduction of new teachers.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Manley, and members of the board. So we have 5 new staff to introduce to the board and the public tonight. So for the new staff that are here, thank you in advance. When I call your name, you can make your way to the podium to your right. As I'm reading your bio and you get to the podium, you'll have the opportunity to say to the board and public 2 words, thank you, or a couple sentences to explain, what your goals are and how happy you are to be in Metuchen. So we'll start with Rebecca Dwyer. Rebecca, special ed teacher, English language arts at Edgar Middle School. Rebecca earned her bachelor's degree from William Patterson in secondary English education. She's certified as a teacher of English and a teacher of students with disabilities. Rebecca has previous experience as a leave replacement teacher at the middle and high school levels in the Westfield, West Orange, and Hawthorne public schools. And we welcome Rebecca to Metuchen.
Hi, it was a pleasure meeting all of you. It's great to be here tonight. I look forward to spending the rest of my year and hopefully years to come in Metuchen. It's a great school district. I'm over at Edgar Middle School. And again, thanks all for having me.
Congratulations. Thanks for being here.
Next is Lindsay Fishman. Lindsay's also special ed ELA teacher at Edgar Middle School. She has a bachelor's in education from University of Delaware, her master's degree in special ed from Western Governors University. She holds New Jersey certification as a teacher of students with disabilities, elementary school teacher, and has subject matter specialization 5 to 8 language arts. Prior to this, she worked at the Golden Door Charter School in Jersey City as a 6th grade language arts teacher, and we welcome Lindsay to Metuchen.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited for this school year. It's been an awesome start. Everybody's been super welcoming and helpful, and the kids are amazing, so I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Congrats. Thank you for being here. Excited.
Francine Galassa. Francine is a special ed teacher for our self-contained grades 3 and 4 class at Campbell School. She has her bachelor's degree in psychology from Ashford University in Iowa and a master's degree in social science education from the University of Phoenix. She had her teacher certification in special education program from New Jersey City University. She's certified as a teacher of elementary and teacher of students with disabilities. And prior to coming to Metuchen, she's completed long-term assignments in both Hazlitt and Atlantic Highlands.
Wow, Dr. Caputo, that sounds like a lot. I feel like I'm not worthy of all that, but I'm very happy to be here. I love it here. For lack of a better term, I have drunk the Kool-Aid. I like it here. I plan on staying, and if I could take a moment to officially invite you all to my retirement party, that would be awesome, because I'm staying. Thank you very much.
Congratulations both on your starting and finishing here.
Wendy Keller. Wendy's hired as our part-time kindergarten teacher at Moss School. She has a bachelor's degree in family child studies from Montclair State. She's certified as a preschool to 3rd grade teacher. She has prior experience, 1 year in the South Boundbrook School Districts teaching 1st grade, and she completed several leave replacement positions in the Union School District. And prior to that, 2 years teaching kindergarten for a private school, and we're thrilled to have Wendy with us.
Hi, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity working in Metuchen, and I look forward to being here for a long time.
Congrats. Thank you so much for being here.
And finally tonight, Clarence Stone. Clarence is our technology education teacher at Metuchen High School. He earned his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from West Virginia University, his master's degree from Purdue University, also in electrical engineering, additional coursework from New Jersey City University for the alternate route certification program, and he's certified as a teacher of technology education and mathematics. His previous experience includes 7 years, most recently in the North Hunt and Voorhees district, and in 2 years in Cranford at the middle school level prior to that. He served as an adjunct professor at the County College of Morris, and with prior experience in the engineering, management field, and industry. Welcome, Clarence.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks for hiring me, and really look forward to joining the team at the high school. Again, my background's engineering, so I'm hoping I can bring some of that background to the classroom and help kids make some career choices. Thank you.
We're excited to have you. Thank you very much for being here.
Mr. Manley, we also have one other teacher who wasn't able to come tonight, but we'll invite him to our meeting on September 24th.
Great, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Really appreciate you coming. It's a little extra effort, but we love having you here, love seeing you, and really excited to have you on board and part of the team, and hope you wish you well this year and years forward. So thank you so much for coming. At this point, I'd like to open the meeting to the public for any topic at all. Seeing none, I'll close that section of the meeting. Moving on to reports, President's report. Just have one brief item. I would like to congratulate the administration and make sure that the public is aware that as of last week, we have officially completed our one-to-one initiative. So all students between the grades of 5th and 12th all now have an individual Chromebook. That was an initiative that we started 3 years ago with a timeline of 4 years to complete, and we were able to do it 1 year faster than we anticipated. So thanks to Chris Thuman and his team for all the work they did, not only making sure that the infrastructure was in place, both from a networking, Wi-Fi, and all of that, but then rolling out the Chromebooks each year as they've come on, they've gotten better and better. And thanks to this board and previous board members who made the investment in all of those items and committed to providing the technology, putting it in the hands of the students. So thank you, Dr. Caputo, Mr. Harvier, for all the work on that, and really, really excited, so thank you.
Thank you.
And that concludes my report. Mr. Caputo, or Dr. Caputo, I'm sorry.
So I just wanted to report to the board, the school's off to a good start. I had a couple of follow-ups from prior questions. So there was a question asked, the mud run this year, or the Proving Ground Mud Run, which benefits the Marissa Tafaro Foundation, raised $1,000. Mr. Cathcart, Ms. McCorkle, Mr. Paragallo will actually be presenting that to the Greg Tafaro on Thursday. So we're very happy to be able to contribute to a great foundation, which is giving back to, in the name of Greg's daughter, to all districts in the county. So we're thrilled that we can contribute to that. And I had a question about the Chromebooks to follow up on Mr. Manley's announcement. So we actually have 1,459 Chromebooks now in students' hands, grades 5 to 12. So it's been a big undertaking. We appreciate the financing and the budgetary decisions by the board, and all the rollout work, both from our tech department under Mr. Thuman, and as well as Nada Evans as our supervisor of math and technology. So thank you very much.
Yep, and I just thought of one thing that I thought you were going to cover, and you probably thought I was going to cover, so I'll go back and do it again. So for those who don't know, the website was updated this week. There is a new button for the mental health initiative, as well as a link on the announcement, so you can see it, get to it fast on mobile. So looking at any information you want to learn on the mental health and emotional support proposal that's on the ballot in November, there's all kinds of information there on the website for you, the public, to review.
Yeah, all in one place. We have a number of presentations, including last night at the high school PTO, next Monday at the Edgar PTO, then the Campbell Moss PTO. We have 2 additional sessions scheduled, one during the day and one in the evening. I believe those are September 27th and October 3rd.
Yep. So for those, I'll put this on camera. If you're at a PTO or back to school night, you can pick up this pamphlet. It's just informational only. Has those dates and times on the back as well. It's just a little bit of information about the proposal as well. So there's electronic format on the web, and then paper form that you can pick up at any of the school events as well.
We're encouraging our community to be informed, and then to vote in November.
Mr. Harvey, Business Administrator Board Secretary's report.
No report tonight.
Thank you. So we're on to committee reports. Policy, Mr. Glassberg.
Policy has not met. We meet next week.
Curriculum, Mrs. Clean.
Has not met. We're meeting also next week.
Extracurricular, Mr. Suss.
Extracurricular has not met. We are meeting next week, but note a change in meeting time. It'll be on Monday, 9/16 at 8:30 after the Edgar PTO meeting. It'll be at Edgar School, and there is one spot available for if anyone else wants to attend.
Thank you.
Our meeting will be at
Yeah.
Edgar.
Yes.
Finance, Mr. Small.
Finance met on September 9th, covered a few different topics. The technology, finance and technology. We deferred most of the technology topics, although Dr. Caputo gave us a quick update on the Chromebook rollout. We're going to try and see if we can measure the efficacy of technology. We've invested a lot of money over the past decade or so in trying to understand, in terms of delivering curriculum in the classroom, if there are some ways to measure if we think we're getting the return on that investment, particularly as we look to go through life cycle of replacing these. Not all of the grades have them. And then further technology items will be at next month's meeting. We had a quick update on the budget for this past school year. The audit is still underway and finalization of what we think the surpluses will be and any transfers to reserve and capital accounts that may be left over. We think we'll have a little bit. We talked about out-of-district students, and the main topic that we covered were a number of different transportation-related issues, primarily around availability and consistency of buses showing up when they're supposed to as contracted for jointures with other school districts for some of the VOTEC schools. And the administration continues to work through some solutions on that. Really loud. Talked about an email received from, sorry, can you turn the microphone down a little? I'm like whispering and there's like reverb and it's all the way over there. Thank you. My voice is bad enough to begin with. Garden State Coalitions and message that we received from them. We've received some grant money from prior years that we were kind of pleasant surprises that will go into surplus for the upcoming school year. And those were primary topics. Busing related issues dominated.
Renovated and completed the room for 187 for ESS. We did roof repairs, sealing of the ledge in the front of the building. There's a ledge between the first and second floors at the high school. We've done repairs in the rear last year and then did the front of the building this year. New split system in the IDF room 146. That's air conditioning to keep that equipment cool. New data and electric for 6 computers in the library was completed. And then we did also did storm line jetting the kitchen auditorium in front of the school. We discussed the custodial issue And then we talked about building referendum and planning. We went over a potential calendar of work and events that would have us doing a vote in September of 2020 on a building referendum. We discussed going out for an architect RFP, and we discussed sewer lines, storm drainage around the schools that we would have to consider as part of any construction. Discussed an RFP for the construction attorney, and then in some environmental investigation tasks and issues that we need to investigate as part of the planning for any construction. And then last but not least, we had an email regarding parking on Lowell Avenue, which is something we continue to monitor and may be able to address as part of a referendum as well. On that item, I've also talked with the borough regarding parking on that street, and at this time, there is not interest in restricting the parking there, so we will continue to have it as part of our building use forms, recommending that people don't use it, but we cannot force them to not. So, any other committees or assignments that anybody needs to report on that I didn't ask about? Okay. Seeing none, I will close the report section. Any new business from the board? Seeing none, close that. Any old business from the board? Mr. Glassberg.
I just want to add on to the mental health initiative that you referenced and point out that this month is Suicide Awareness Month, September, and today happens to be World Suicide Awareness Day. So it fits well with the initiatives of the district that we're taking both for staff and for students. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for teenagers, and every 40 seconds worldwide, somebody commits suicide. So I think it's great that we're moving forward, although this this plan for for November goes way beyond addressing suicide. I think that's an important component of it too.
It is. Thank you very much for those comments. Appreciate all you do in your professional life as well around those topics, so thank you. Any other old business from the board? Seeing none, I move to approve the minutes of the following meetings: August 27th, special meeting number 1, special executive meeting number 2, and the board meeting. Do I have a second? Mrs. Cook. Roll call.
Mr. Benderly?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Derflinger?
Yes.
Mr. Glassberg?
Yes.
Ms. Colleen?
Yes.
Mr. Lifton?
I abstain.
Mr. Manley?
Yes.
Mr. Small?
Yes.
And Mr. Suss?
Yes.
The motion carries.
At this time, I open the meeting to the public for any topic discussed up until this point in the meeting, or for comments or recommendations of superintendent of schools. Seeing no public, I close that section of the meeting. Oftentimes, it may appear to members of our audience that the Board of Ed takes action with very little comment and in many cases, unanimous vote. Before a matter is placed on the agenda at a public meeting, the administration has thoroughly reviewed the matter with the superintendent of schools. If the superintendent is satisfied that that matter is ready to be presented to the board, it is then referred to the appropriate committee. The members of the committee work with the administration and the superintendent to assure that the members fully understand the matter. When the committee is satisfied with the matter, it is presented to the Board of Ed for discussion before any final action is taken. Only then is it placed on the agenda for action at a public meeting. With that, I'll open the personnel section, and I will move to approve Soraya Tolentino as bus driver for the 2019-2020 school year at a rate listed on the agenda. I move to approve a full instructional stipend for Rebecca Dwyer, Egger Middle School Special Ed English Language Arts teacher, per the rate on the agenda for the 2019-2020 school year. I move to approve the list of names on the agenda for the Metuchen High School weight room supervisors at the rate listed on the agenda. I move to rescind and approve the following for the Egger Middle School field hockey coach for the 2019-2020 school year. Rescind Margot Banner, approve Lauren Scala, per the stipend listed on the agenda. We move to approve the appointment of substitute teachers, nurses, paraprofessionals, and secretaries for the 2019-2020 school year on the attached chart. I move to approve the following teachers for the 2020 Title IV grant for the Metuchen High School Community Service Club, October 2019 through June 2020 at the hourly rate listed on the agenda. Staff members Bonnie Stansky and Sarah Carter. I move to rescind the Moss PE stipend for Michelle McCorkle for the 2019-2020 school year. I move to approve Mike Noth as long-term substitute at Metuchen High School effective September 11, 2019, and as needed for the 19-20 school year per the rate listed on the agenda. I move to approve administrative leave with pay for the employee listed on the agenda, retroactive to August 29, 2019, with an end date to be determined. I move to approve Amber Lee Scarcella as the Metuchen High School physical education health teacher, step 2B, prorated effective September 11, 2019, or when she is released from her current employer through June 30th, 2020. Do I have a second? Sorry, I didn't look up. Mr. Bennerly. I asked and didn't look. Roll call?
Any comments?
Oh, any comments or questions? Thank you. Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Benderly?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Derflinger?
Yes.
Mr. Glassberg?
Yes.
Ms. Colleen?
Yes.
Mr. Lifton?
Yes.
Mr. Manley?
Yes.
Mr. Small?
Yes.
And Mr. Suss? Motion carries.
Finance, Mr. Small?
I'd like to move items B1 through B8 as listed on the agenda.
Is there a second? And I'm looking. Mr. Derflinger? Any comments or questions on those? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Benderly?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Derflinger?
Yes.
Mr. Glassberg?
Yes.
Ms. Colleen?
Yes.
Mr. Lifton?
Yes.
Mr. Manley?
Yes.
Mr. Small?
Yes.
Mr. Suss?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Glassberg, policy?
Move to approve item C1 as listed on the agenda.
Do I have a second? Mr. Suss? I'll give you that one, since you didn't punch me. Any comments or questions on any of those? Mr. Suss?
I actually have a little bit of a problem with policy 157. Policy 157 is the Board of Education website, and it lists the types of information that may be posted to the website include but not limited to the usual information. But it also mentions materials containing political or editorial points of view shall be prohibited from the website. Teacher websites are included off of our website, and I'm wondering if that would be in violation of this policy as written.
That's a good question. This is second reading.
Second reading.
The teachers aren't, it's not, I mean, I guess we'd have
It
to
could be,
review each one of
it
their.
could be political articles, it could be, you know, if they're,
It's for teaching purposes.
I
but
know,
it's-
but
Right.
I'm just following the letter of the policy.
Well, I think we can, I don't think I disagree with, if we could debate or discuss the voting of the policy and then ensure that the website is actually in compliance with it if it's not.
Well,
Right.
I'm just worried that,
I wonder if that language is required by law.
It may be. Was this a, go ahead.
Do you remember if that was a choice, one of the,
Yeah, I mean, we can table this policy and just get a legal opinion. There's no rush to
Okay.
get this approved.
All right, so, to follow, we've had a movement and a second,
Move to table.
so then we have to move to table it.
all right, so I move to table policy, the approval of policy 157 on the Board of Education website.
I'll second that. And then we have to vote on that.
We have comments.
Comments and questions on the movement.
I have no problem tabling it, but I did, Mr. Harvey, I didn't hear the answer. Is this boilerplate from Strauss-Essex?
Yeah.
So these aren't choices we made locally. This is a recommendation from our
Right.
policy company.
Right.
Okay. So let's table and get an opinion, but I just wanted to make sure I
I didn't
heard
remember
that.
if it was one that had a check off, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been bolded. Usually the ones that we're adding are bolded. But it's easy enough just to table it and bring it back next meeting.
Mr. Small?
One other thought, as we're preparing to launch a new website on
Yep.
January 1st, we should probably look at the policy and make sure that if there are any changes to the website, that it's still aligned with the policy that we're approving now before the new website is launched.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, well, we could actually have the policy and then reform the website, but we, as you point out, we know we're gonna do it, so we should, as part of that build process, make sure that it's consistent.
One other question.
Yes, sir?
Just one other question. The existing policy, the one that we're replacing that was adopted in 2004, do you know if it had that same language in it? In other words, this language new?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Not to put you on the spot, Mr. Harvey, but what did you know and when did you know?
I didn't memorize, didn't memorize.
You don't
that
have all the
particular
policies
policy.
memorized?
I'll get the answers, though.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's it, that's it. Oh, no, it's the second page.
Yeah.
All right, so we've tabled that, we've discussed it, we need to vote on the tabling. So, roll call vote on the tabling of policy 157.
Mr. Benderly?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Durflinger?
Yes.
Mr. Glassberg?
Yes.
Ms. Colleen?
Yes.
Mr. Lipton?
Yes.
Mr. Manley?
Yes.
Mr. Small?
Yes.
Mr. Suss?
Yes.
Motion carries.
So now we have a second on the other policy. Do we have any comments or questions on any of the other policies? Seeing none, roll call vote on the approval of the other policies.
Mr. Benderly?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Durflinger?
Yes.
Mr. Glassberg?
Yes.
Ms. Colleen?
Yes.
Mr. Lipton?
Yes.
Mr. Manley?
Yes.
Mr. Small?
Yes.
Mr. Suss?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And there's no curriculum, so you're off the hook, Mrs. Queen. At this point, I will open the meeting to the public for anything you wish to discuss. Continuing to see no public, I will close that section.
Mr. Manley, I actually just had one item I forgot to report
You
during
need
my...
to go out on the public to do that.
We, the board had asked for a count of the times that option G was invoked during the 18-19 school year.
Yep.
So I have that for you. Moss invoked option G 0 times, Campbell 7 times, Edgar School twice, and the high school 3 times. So a total of 12 for the 18-19 school year.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
At this point, announcements. Mr. Durflinger, Mrs. Cook is pointing at you.
Yes. Before I start announcements, if I could just give a shout out to all of our staff members and teachers for a great opening of the year. Our kids were really excited about going back to school, and you guys made it a great first day. So thank you to everybody, including our administration and our custodial staff, our secretaries for making it possible, and our nurses. Never forget the nurses. Tomorrow, Wednesday, September 11th, is Moss School's Back to School Night from 6:30 to 7:40 p.m. Thursday, September 12th, we've got the Meet the Teacher Night at Metuchen High School at 7 o'clock. On the 16th will be the Edgar PTO meeting at 7:30 p.m. On Monday, September 23rd, we have Campbell Elementary School's PTO meeting at Moss School at 7:30 p.m. And our next board meeting is Tuesday, September 24th at 8 p.m. right here at the high school. Thank you.
Great, thank you for the announcements and that statement you made beforehand, too. You're always awesome at doing that, and I'm glad you do it. So I move to adjourn.